Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our online chess lessons for Thursday, the 6th of September. This is Robert Jamieson here in Melbourne, and I have with me today Callum Kershna. You're down in Tassie, Callum, is that right?
Yep.
Yep. Whereabouts? Hobart, or you're in the country somewhere?
Over.
Okay, and I've got your profile there, which says your rating's 1,069. How old are you?
12.
Okay, oh, that's pretty good. And you play a fair bit from the look of all those events there, and your rating's been
Yep.
going up nicely, so well done on that. You had a look at the two puzzles I've set today.
Um, yeah.
Let's start with position B, which was from the Chess Olympiad with Australian player Max Illingworth as white. Did you see any good move for Max?
Well, I thought at the start about um going for rook to g5 check, but it doesn't work because
Doesn't work.
of his
What
knight
did
there.
Black reply?
Um, he could take the pawn. Well,
Okay,
he would take the pawn because if he went to h6, you could
mate,
mate.
all right. And you didn't have any good moves
Um,
then?
and I was gonna go to rook h3, but then I saw his knight, so I settled on rook h8.
All right. Okay. So that looks moderately good. I don't know that many people have got the correct solution. Uh, Perhaps Heath has. Let me just have a look here. Uh, Heath is very close. A very pretty finish. So now, what do I say when we're trying to find a combination? We should look for what?
All checks and
All
captures.
checks and captures. All right. So you did well with your first move. You did rook g5 check because we've got the king on the side of the board. And king h6 is obviously no good because of rook e6 mate. So he would have to take the pawn. Then you looked at another check, but that silly rook h3 check because his knight just takes it. That's what we said, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're very close, but you've had a common mistake. You've stopped analysing too early. You've looked at a move and said, "Oh, that's silly." So you need to look maybe one move further. So let's just pretend his knight took it. Is there
Yeah.
anything good you could do now?
Um, take back.
You could take back. Would that be good for you, or Black's got heaps more pawns than you and you're in a bit of trouble?
He's got more pawns.
All right. Have you looked at all checks and captures? You just looked at a capture.
Yeah.
People are screaming at you on the question. Can you see a good move for white?
No.
Can you see a check? How many checks?
Yeah.
You've got three checks. One of them's a really good
Oh.
one.
Oh, right. G3.
Yeah, G3 checkmate. So that's really pretty. Sacrificing the rook to finish off the black king there. So that was just an example of looking at checks and captures to get you started, but don't stop too early. Don't just dismiss a move, oh, that's silly, he can take me or something. Just look one or two moves beyond that, just in case there's a surprise move like that G3 check. So
Yep.
that was really cool. All right, let's have a look at the second one. Now, this is going to take a little bit of effort on my part because I have to load the game, and I'll have a look at the game window, and we'll go to move 33, I think it is. There we go. Okay. Now, I don't know whether many of you were following my suggestion and having a look online at either the Chess Olympiad with our senior team and the women's team as well, or the World Under 16 Championship, which is on at the same time. This is a game from the Under 16s, uh, which was very exciting because Lawrence Matheson of Australia is white, and we're playing Russia, the top seeds who eventually won the tournament. So I stayed up till I think it was 3 a.m. to see the finish of this game, which was a bit of a tall ask, but fairly worthwhile. Because how do you think Lawrence is going? I've taken it back a couple of moves. So in the position I'm showing you now, Callum, how do you think Lawrence is going?
Well, it's pretty even, but she's got the pass pawn.
So Lawrence has got one extra pawn if you count the pawns. So he's got 7 to 6. All right. Now, what about the pieces? Are his pieces better placed, or his opponent's pieces better placed?
Well, our white's more attacking
Yep.
and black's sort of defending.
Yep. So white's got his queen, his knight, his rook, all on nice squares, and that strong pass pawn. So Lawrence is doing really well.
Yeah.
He should win this game, all things being equal. And his opponent didn't really know what to do, so he just moved his king back.
Okay.
He sort of run out of ideas. So Lawrence pushed the c pawn. May not have been the best, but it's okay. So chops. Lawrence swapped queens, and then the knight took. So Lawrence's knight is now attacking that a pawn. So the guy went all defensive. So we get to the position I showed you in the diagram. Now, did you get a chance to have a look at this? Is what you think Lawrence should play as white?
No, I didn't get a chance to look at that.
All right. Well, let's have a quick look now. So he's got a nice attacking rook and knight. He's a pawn up. He's got a strong pass pawn. But he hasn't got any immediate threats or exciting tactics or anything. So what if you were white, what would you be thinking he should be playing?
Well, probably b7.
Knight to b7 to attack the rook? Quite,
Yeah, and
quite,
get
quite a few
this.
people have suggested that. So is that a good attack? Where would the rook go?
Well, the rook could go to d7.
Yep. Then it's attacking the knight.
Yeah. You
So what
can
would you
just
do
go
with the
back.
knight?
You just probably go back.
Okay, so we're repeating position and we're having a draw.
Yeah.
That's no good because we want to win. We're a pawn up, we're winning. All right, any other thoughts? So knight b7 doesn't look so good.
Um, maybe a4 or something.
A4, so that's playing where we have the advantage, which is what I say to do. That's possible. Max is screaming out to play d7. Let's have a talk to someone, see what they think then. See if I can find Max. Where are you, Max? Okay. Max, are you there?
Yeah.
Now, you're screaming out you want to play d7, so tell us about that.
D7 blocks off the rook, so you can then play knight b7.
Okay, but
Actually, that might not work
it may
because
not work
rook
because
would
you'll take
take
the
on
pawn.
d7.
Okay, so do you still like d7 or you've changed your mind?
Maybe d7 followed by a4.
Okay, all right, thanks for that. Um, does that impress you, Callum? You're interested in d7 or not?
Yeah, I looked at it, but I saw the take of the rook, but I guess it's pushing it up more.
All right, well, let's have a chat to Gary, see what he thinks. Gary, are you there? Gary Lynn, can you talk to me? Nope, Gary's not talking today. Okay, who else can we ask? I'll try Lachlan. Lachlan, are you there?
Yeah.
What do you
Yep.
think? We're stuck for a move for white. Have you got any thoughts in this position?
Um, not
Max has
really.
suggested d7. We tried
Maybe
knight
get the king
b7. It
king
didn't seem to do
active.
much good. What do you say?
Because he has no attack, you could probably get your king out.
So you play king f2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Lachlan. All right, Callum. Lachlan wants to play king f2. What do you think of that?
Well, it's not really endgame yet, but
It's
it's
pretty
sort
close
of,
to an endgame. An
yeah.
endgame is generally defined as where you try to start queening a pawn. So we've got that pawn on d6, which is pretty close.
Yeah, it looks a good move because you could follow up with I'm at g4 and you could slowly start
Mm.
pushing up.
Okay. All right. Let's see what happened. No, actually, I'll ask you a couple of questions first. All right. So, which is the better pawn? White's pawn on d6 or that pawn on a6? Which do you think is the stronger pawn?
Um, I think the d6 pawn.
Okay, I'd agree with that. What about the knight? Which is the stronger knight? White's knight on c5 or black's knight on b8?
They're fairly even.
Are they
Well,
fairly?
white White's knight is on a good square because Black's knight's a bit cramped up and it's only got 2 places to go.
Yeah. So wouldn't you
His
say
attack.
white knight's better then?
Yeah, but it's in a good place at the moment to stop the pawn from going any further.
Yeah, but black's defensive, so it's probably where it needs to
Yeah.
be. But you say white's knight was better than black's knight, I think. All right.
Yeah.
Now Lawrence is a very strong player, but I have a theory that if you play online, he always plays 1 minute chess or 2 minute chess, something like that. And when you're playing that, the whole focus of the game is on tactics, on threats, moving quickly, taking things, attacking, whatever. So I'm not so sure that Lawrence is so good at building up a position. I think he's a sort of attack type player. So his brain in this position came up with Max's move, D7. So let's have a quick look at what happened. The other guy now said, oh, goody, I can bring my king across. Lawrence went up with his rook, king attacks. So suddenly that strong pawn on D7 is under a triple attack. So he lost his pawn. They had to swap off, but Lawrence got the outside rook pawn. So he's given up his good pawn for the bad pawn, his good knight for the bad knight, but he has those 2 outside passed pawns, and he is a pawn up. So how do you think he's going, Callum? Is he still winning, or is the other guy?
I reckon he's doing pretty good now.
All right, so let's see what happened. The other guy zooms up there, and Lawrence starts pushing. Pushing. Rooks belong behind passed pawn, so the other guy's got his rook in a really good spot on the 7th rank and behind the passed pawn. Here comes the other one. Now the bloke's bringing his king over. So black sort of got his king and his rook working, and Lawrence's king is all by its lonesome. Now the guy's trying desperately to swap off those pawns and stop them queening. So Lawrence now starts bringing his king into it. But he decides on this strange sort of king safari, wandering over here, and his king ends up in this weird spot on the side of the board. And now all of a sudden black's got this passed pawn on e4 that Lawrence has to keep an eye on. So they got to this position, and would you believe they agreed to draw? So
They drew.
Because the guy can play king d7 attacking the rook, and if the rook goes to e5, king d6 attacking the rook, and the rook's too scared to move off that e file because the black pawn will just keep on moving. So the Russian guy sort of swindled the draw from an absolutely hopeless position against Lawrence. So let's just go back. It's quite a few moves. So that was, it's still a good result to draw with Russia, but that was disappointing. So we had this position. Now, were it me, I don't like attacking and analysing and playing too aggressively. I like to build up and try and sit on my opponent. So I agree totally with Lachlan's move. I would have played king f2 because you have a look at black's position. Now, what can he do? His rook can't go away because our pawn's nearly running through. His knight can't go anywhere because he'll lose his a pawn. If he tries to push his a pawn, we can take it or push past, and then we've got 2 passed pawns. His king can't really get into it, so he can't really improve his position. So we can just march our king up to wherever we like, or we can play little repair moves like g3 or something like that, so that we get all ready. We're sitting on it. Then, if we like, we can play d7 and start messing about on the queen side and swapping off a bit, but when our king is in a much better spot. So I hope everyone understands that attack isn't the only option. If you've got your opponent tied down, keep him tied down and just improve your position a little bit. You follow all that, Callum?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Excellent. Now, we're going to have a look at one of your games. Let me have a look here. This is against Master Spy. I guess this is an online game you played the other day, is it?
Yeah. He didn't want me to say his name.
Don't say Master Spy or whatever that means. Okay. Now, it's a fairly long game, so we'll try and look at the main points. Now, you are white, so let's get up and running. So you're an e4 guy. Okay, so he's played a little bit defensively there with d6. So now I'm not sure you've quite got the hang of what we should be doing in the opening, so I'll have a little poll to see what the others think. So you guys, I'll give you a choice of 4 moves for white. So you could either play bishop b5, bishop c4, pawn to d3, or pawn to d4. So they're the 4 moves, my 4 candidate moves I'd be choosing from if I was white. Bishop b5, bishop c4, d3, or d4. So let's launch the poll. So if everyone can start voting which one they like. Bishop b5 like a Rai Lopez, bishop c4 like a Gyoko piano, d4 like a Scotch, or d3. At the moment, d4's in the, oh no, d4 and bishop c4 are level. No one likes d3. Bishop b5 is coming third. I've only got 76 voted, so 76%. A few more still to vote. Come on. Bishop c4 has hit the lead. Another 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's close the poll and let's have a sticky beak. So we got bishop c4 was 48%. d4 was second, 33%. Bishop b5 was third with 19%, and d3 was last with no percent. So which one did you vote for, or would you vote for, Callum?
Bishop c4.
All right, so tell me why you like bishop c4.
Well, I like to do the fried liver, and the Roy Lopez is not one of my favourite moves, and I like to get my bishops out early.
Okay, but you can't do the fried liver in this position because he's played d6, not knight f6.
I sort of like the position it gives.
Okay, so you like the bishop attacking the weak point on f7 and maybe building up to that or something.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we get another opinion. I'll ask Ryan. You there, Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah, which one do you like?
Yes.
Which move do you like, Ryan?
D4.
Okay, why do you like d4?
Because it gets 2 pawns side by side.
And why is that good?
Because it like can protect each other, and
Yep.
it
Anything else?
also takes the center, and
Yep. Yep, that's pretty valid. Thank you very much, Ryan. That was very good. Right, Callum. Yeah. One of the aims, of course, of the opening is to seize the centre. So d4, you've got a chance to play it here. That would have been the best move in my view. Now, the reason, apart from what Ryan said, is about space. So have a look. So if he takes you, you can play knight takes d4. So now who's got the more space in the centre?
Me.
Yeah, because you've got a pawn on the fourth. His pawn's only on the third. All right. Now, if he doesn't take, what could you do next move?
Push up, d5.
Yeah, you could push the pawn up to d5. Oops. Forcing his knight back and gaining more space. You've got a pawn on the fifth rank. So he's given you the sort of free chance to seize the centre with a bit more space. So d4 would probably be the way to go. Anyway, in the game you did bishop c4. Now he's pinned you, which is a bit annoying. What should you do about the pin?
I normally ignore it.
Ignore it, okay. Would you think
Sometimes
about
I
playing
change it
h3, or that would be too weakening?
Well, I like to keep my pawns down until I need them, because later on I might need to do g3 or something.
Okay, h3 doesn't stop you doing g3. Does
But if I do
h3 gain you a little bit of space and force his bishop maybe back to a worse spot on h5 rather than g4?
yeah,
So, like, if he took you, you'd be happy, wouldn't you? Giving up his bishop,
yeah,
then you'd be threatening mate.
yeah.
Yeah, see, so I'd chuck in h3. I reckon that's a handy little move, and it forces his bishop back. And if you need to break the pin, you can still play g4. You play d3. Now, I'd be a little bit worried about knight b4, but he actually took you. What do you think of that?
Pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that's a very bad move. He's sort of broken the pin for no reason. If he's going to take, he must wait till you play h3. So I'm thinking this guy probably isn't too strong. So I'll be very encouraged by that. And you've now got 3 pieces developed to his 1, and you're threatening mate in 1. So he puts his knight out. Okay. What do you think White should play here, people? Type in the questions. What should Callum do as White? He's got a couple of reasonable candidate moves. Max likes bishop g5. He likes it so much he's typed it in twice. Evan likes castles. Rebecca, Daniel, bishop g5. William likes bishop e3. Rebecca goes knight d5. Thomas castles. Bishop g5 is the most popular. So what do you like, Callum?
Bishop g5.
All right, tell me, why do you like bishop g5?
I like to attack the king side, and it's sort of in the way of my mating move.
Yes,
And
but
I
I
like
mean,
to
you're
double up
attacking
his
a piece
pawn.
that's defended twice, and if he wants, he can just play bishop e7, defending it 3 times and castles. So is that a good spot for the bishop then? You're going to
Yeah,
take
because
why is it
it's on
good?
king, because it's on king side, and they're handy to attack later on.
Well, so he plays bishop e7, he castles, then he plays h6, go away.
I could just move it back to
Back to where?
h4.
Okay. All right. See, I think you don't understand about the 2 pawns side by side. Whoops, what's going on here? I'll get rid of that. Sorry. So the best way to get a plan in the opening, unless it's an open game with lots of pieces going everywhere, is to go for the 2 pawns side by side. So rather than just pinning things that he can get out of, if I were you, I'd be looking to either play d4 or f4. So I reckon castles is probably the best move. His knight's probably going to come up and hit your queen. You can go back, and then you can chase his knight away and play f4. You've got the 2 pawns side by side with the rook behind it, and off you go. So that's what I look for in a plan. You went there. Now, he didn't play bishop e7. He played a silly move h6, so you just doubled his pawns. And even better, you hit him with knight d5 with a double attack on f6 and c7, which was really great. So you took it. So how do you reckon you're going here?
Fairly well.
Yeah, you won a pawn. He's maybe a smidgen ahead in development because he's castled. You're attacking the pawn on f7, so it's all looking pretty good. Now, he's dropped up knight to d4. What should you do about that? He's threatening to.
Probably castle, queen side.
Okay. Anything else you might look at?
Castle and king side,
Then you're dropping your pawn, aren't you? You can just take the pawn.
and rook c1.
So you're happy to give up the pawn for nothing?
Rook c1.
Yeah, you still lost a pawn, or have you got a killer attack on that c file that makes it worthwhile?
Not really.
Not really, no. Okay. Castles would be all right. Another move you could look at, bishop b3, just to protect it with the bishop, and then maybe c3 to chase the knight away. What you did was rook c1, which looks all right, but he has an annoying way of pestering that rook. He plays bishop e7, hitting a knight. You went back, and then he played there, hitting your rook. So if you move the rook, obviously the pawn's dropping, so you have to drop back with your knight. So you're still a pawn up. It's all looking pretty good, and you're still threatening that f7 pawn.
Yep.
Now he took your knight. Why he did it? What do you think of that? Is that good or bad or indifferent or?
Well, it's not good or bad.
It's just average, piece for piece. So which is a better piece, the bishop or the knight?
I think the knight's better.
Okay.
Well, his bishop's better at the moment, but I like knights more.
You like
'Cause his
knight
bishop's...
more. All right. Is the knight going anywhere?
No.
No. So him taking it now is sort of like losing his options. He should maybe wait till you play h4, attack the bishop, then he takes the knight. So bishop takes knight. Quite often, Junior's just like taking for the sake of taking. Maybe he's one of those players. And worse for him, you recapture with the pawn now, chasing his really good knight away.
Yeah.
So things are going fairly well. Where should he put the knight?
Probably e6.
Yeah, because you've got a threat on f7.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that. He went back to c6, which is a bit funny. Do you want to take that pawn or do something else?
Take the pawn.
Is there another move you'd look at?
Maybe bishop to d5 or b5.
Why do you want to move that bishop?
Well, take the knight.
Aha. So you like taking knights with bishops? That's what you said a minute ago.
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
I like to get to the end game pretty quick.
Okay. So you reckon you're better in the end game?
Yeah.
So you like swapping pieces?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's good that you know what you're good at and you try and achieve that sort of position. But just swapping piece for piece, as I think I've said a number of times before, we should only do that if there's some advantage to us, like we're doubling his pawns or we're getting rid of his strong bishop, or we're ahead on material, we swap pieces, things like that. But spending time moving your bishop to swap off for a knight is a bit like a waste of time in this position. You haven't castled yet, you haven't got your rooks into the game, and you can win a
Yeah.
free pawn. All right. Evan's got the right idea, as have Ryan and Yevgeny, and in fact, is what you did. You castled. So now you've got a double attack on that pawn. So you're still winning a pawn, so all that's fine. He put his rook on the G file. Right, so now your obvious move is to take that pawn. Now the question is, do we take it with the bishop or do we take it with the rook? So how about we have another little poll? So people have a think. We want to win that pawn. Would we rather take that pawn with the bishop or would we rather take with the rook? So cast your votes. At the moment, the rook is in the lead. We've only had 70% vote. Come on, the other 30%. We want everyone to vote if possible. 74%. Give you 5 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's have a look. So we've got 23% like the bishop, 77% like the rook. All right, which one do you like, Callum?
The rook.
The rook. Okay, why do you like the rook?
Because his next move was to do rook g7.
Okay, so you want to stop that because that's a really good move for him or something, is it?
Yeah, so he can double up his rooks.
Okay. If you take with the bishop, he can put the rook g7, but he can't double rooks because that bishop's controlling g8.
Yeah.
So is your argument a good argument?
No.
Okay, so how do we know which is the best way to recapture, the rook or the bishop? Can you give me another argument?
No.
Okay, all right, we'll see if we can get some help then. See if Rebecca can help us. You there, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Are you a takes with the bishop or takes with the rook sort of girl?
Takes with the rook.
Take with the rook, all right. And your reason for choosing the rook would be what?
Because then you could try and double your rooks on the F file and maybe do a discovered attack somewhere on the bishop to the rook.
Yes, okay.
And if you take with the bishop, it's on a pretty good square at the moment when the rook isn't.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Rebecca. That's pretty close to being right. Okay, so taking with the bishop, some people might do that because they want to attack the rook, but obviously the rook's going to move, so it's not a sort of winning attack or combination or anything, and the bishop's already developed in a good spot. But our rook's sitting back there on F1, and rooks love the 7th rank, so the reason you take with the rook is to develop your pieces, to put a rook on the better square, and as Rebecca said, then the other rook can come in and double on the F file and off you go. So taking with the rook, the 70% odd, 77% who said that was good. In the game, you took with the bishop, and his rook went to g7. What happened then? You hit him with a check. Why did you hit him with a check?
Well, not really sure.
Okay.
Maybe
Would you
to
do
get
something different now, or is that still a good move?
it's an alright move. I didn't
Mhm.
really have much time left then, so I was sort of rushing.
Okay, so you saw a check, and that's another move to get close to the time control or something.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably a fair argument, but what you should always be doing is thinking about your pieces, trying to say, where do I want my pieces, and building up your pieces so they're like working together. So if your bishop's happy on f7, leave it there. If e6 is a better square, put it there. And you've still got that rook on c1 who's not really helping you. So I'll be thinking, how can I get that rook into the game, maybe? All right, so you hit him with a check. He ran away. Now, let's have a vote on the questions. So what should Callum play as white here? So people type in on the question what move you'd play as white. See what we can come up with. William's gone rook f2. Heath's gone rook f2. Joe likes c3. Heath's now had a second vote and gone for rook f6. Evans a rook f7. Roman c3. Daniel Pobbs rook f2. Thomas goes d4, which seems to lose a pawn, so I don't like that much. Rebecca's going c3. He's gone rook f5. They're suggesting a million moves. Do any of them take your fancy, Callum? What do you like?
I like rook f2,
Rook f2. All right. Why do you choose f2?
so I can double up my rooks and
Okay, but you can move your rook anywhere on that file and still double. So is f2 the best square for the rook?
well, yeah, because it's sort of protecting my g2 pawn.
All right. What do you think about f6?
Well,
Would that be a good
it's
square?
okay, but it's exposed.
It's exposed, is it? What's going to attack it?
Well, maybe the rook.
It's going to be difficult. f6. Are you threatening anything?
Taking the pawn.
Yeah. So aren't you like gaining a free developing move with your rook? You're putting your rook in a more attacking spot, and you're forcing him probably to defend his pawn.
Yeah.
So were it me, I think f2 is the right idea, but a bit passive. I'd go to f6. So all of those of you who voted f6, that would be my choice too. You actually played a4. I don't understand that at all. Do you remember what your reasoning was with a4?
I think I wanted to attack his king side and push my pawns up, because that's what I tend to do if I've castled the opposite side of him.
Okay. All
Open it
right.
up.
So you understand that normally when you castle on opposite sides, both sides go for a king side attack because there's nothing in the way. But are we in a middle game where we've got like queens on the board and big attacking pieces that can get a checkmate on opposite side attack? Or are we in an endgame?
No, sort of endgame.
So is attacking with our pawns going to be a good plan?
Well, it's alright, because there's the two rooks at the back.
Okay, it's all right. Let's get a second opinion. We'll try William. William, are you there? William Maligan, talk to me. Nope, he's not going to talk. Oh, no, he's not talking to me. All right, we'll try Haran. Haran, are you there?
Yeah.
Hi. So Callum's thinking about a4 because he wants to get a pawn attack going on the queen side. Is that a good plan or a bad plan, do you think?
A bad plan.
So explain to him why it's a bad plan.
Because like his other pawns and knight, the black's other pawns and knight can like defend.
Yeah, he's got heaps of defenders, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And has he got any weaknesses around the king?
No.
No, he's got that solid pawn wall in front of his king. So attacking, particularly with one pawn or two pawn or something, in my mind, wouldn't be a really good attack. So I think Callum's just wasting his time. Thank you, Haran. All right. So I think you've come up with the wrong plan, Callum.
Yeah.
And in this game, and perhaps one or two of the other games I had a look at, your plan often seems to be throwing your pawns around when you don't know what to do. So we need to sort of break you of that habit. So in this position, so what's happened? He's got 6 pawns. You've got 8 pawns. So you're 2 pawns up. So all things
Yeah.
being equal, it should be a comfy win for you. 2 pawns should be enough to win. So you don't need to attack him. All you need to do is swap off pieces or build up on his weaknesses, or where you've got an advantage with your extra pawns, push them forward, maybe create a pass pawn sort of thing. So I think you're playing on the wrong side of the board. So let's see what he does. He attacks your bishop. Do you remember your next move?
No.
That's a really weird move. I don't know if it's a misprint or not. You went bishop d7. And
Really?
you worried him so much that he moved his rook. Were it me, I would have moved the other rook and taken the bishop, I think. So maybe you guys are both in time trouble or something.
Yeah.
You don't remember what happened there? All right. So he's doubled his rooks. What do you reckon you should do now?
Take the knight
Why do you want to take the knight, apart from the fact that you love taking knights?
to double up his pawns, and there's no more defense there, so I can go on with my pawn attack. There's no
Okay.
more knight.
So you're still wanting to attack him with your pawns. He has a king and 3 pawns. There are no open files in front of his king, and you've only got 2 rooks, and you're going to get a successful attack. You think?
Hopefully.
All right. Now, if you want to take his knight, so what do we've decided we're going to play bishop takes knight. So before we do our move, what should we do?
Make sure his rook takes g2 isn't mate.
No, we should make certain that he hasn't got any good replies that we've missed. So he took you back. Why can't he just play rook takes g2, winning a pawn?
He could have done that.
He could have done it, yeah. So given that taking the knight loses the pawn, is looking at a really strong spot, what could you do instead?
Defend the pawn.
How? Your bishop's attacked, your pawn's attacked.
Move my bishop back to h3.
Yeah, you just go back bishop h3. Would have been fine. Anyway, you were lucky. He didn't take the bishop, and he didn't take g2. So now you protected it. So that was cool. Then he starts throwing pawns at you. And you doubled your rook. Okay. He moved his king up. And you threw some more pawns at him. Right, let's take a step back. We'll go back to here. All right. Everyone, we need to help Callum. He's 2 pawns up. He should be winning, but it's a bit hard. What can he do? Can someone suggest how he can arrange his pieces so he can make a bit of progress? His rook can't move off f2 because he's going to lose that pawn on g2. So Bradley's suggesting d4. Evan's suggesting g3. Anyone else got any suggestions? What can white do? It's deathly silence from everyone else. I think this position is a bit like the one we had with Lawrence before, where you can build up. Rebecca's going g3, he's going rook f1. All right. So, Callum, do you like any of those moves, or you got any thoughts on how you can progress?
Well, I like rook f1.
Okay, and what are your rooks going to do then?
Double up and maybe go back down later on to the.
But if you move that f2 rook away, you're going to lose the g2 pawn.
Yeah. I meant the other rook.
The other rook. So it's going to move off f1 and go somewhere else, is it?
Yeah.
So why are we putting on f1?
To double up.
Okay. All right. So were it me, I would say, all right, I want to play solidly, not give him anything to attack, and then I'll just build up like on his weak H pawn. So were it me, I'd maybe have a look at rook E1 to defend that E pawn. He might do something, maybe he pushes his pawn. Then I move my rook up so that my F rook is now free. So if he brings his king up, say, now I've got an active F rook, so I can move it up, and I'm going to threaten to come across to H5 and attack his pawn. And if he goes rook G4, then I've got H3 to chase him away. And I haven't weakened all my pawn structure, and I've got all my pawns protected, and everything's nice and solid. So you see how that's sort of a bit different to all-out attack and throwing pawns. It's just sort of playing safe. If you've got a one game, you don't want to ruin it. So anyway, we'll have a look what happened. He went up. You threw your pawn at him. He's coming at you. You went there. He attacked your pawn. And for some reason, you didn't defend the pawn. So you must have forgotten to say, what's he attacking? And you played rook D1. I'm not sure where that's going. He went C5. Right, what should you do now with his pawn to C5?
Not sure.
Okay, so he's threatening to take you. Win a pawn. Do you want that?
Yes.
You want him to play C takes B4.
No, I take him.
So you want to take him. Yeah, I'd just take him because that doubles up his pawn. That makes his pawn weak. And you've got the B file if you want to do attacking things. Instead, you defended it, and he came up with this really sneaky move, C4. So you doubled. He went back, and you then took, which possibly wasn't the best, because now his rook's getting in all active and attacking your C pawn. What do you reckon you should do here? We've still got one pawn ahead, but he's attacking our C pawn, and we can't defend it.
Maybe push up more.
Yeah, push the pawn up, but at least have a swap off rather than lose the pawn for nothing. You went B1, he took. Now our E pawn's attacked. So you probably should defend that, but instead you went with the pawn attack. And you keep going with the pawn attack. So we've suddenly gone from being 2 pawns up, now we're 1 pawn down. He challenged to rooks, and you went away, and now his pawn's coming at us. Got 2 pawns coming at us. Now it gets interesting. You get a bit of play against his king. So his king's grabbing the pawn, but it's a bit open, and you've got your rooks attacking him. He's grabbed another pawn. So now he's got 4 pawns to 2. So that's a turnaround of 4 pawns. See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. The strategy of throwing pawns at him has just ended up in you losing your pawns and weakening your position. So that's why it would have been better to play safe and try and work out how to get your rook into it. But you've still got chances against his king. So you hit him with a check. Now he should go to B6. So he's attacking your rook. But he went there. And now, fortunately for you, we come up with a blunder. So you're picking up his rook with a double attack there, so that was really good. Right, how do you reckon you're going now?
Pretty good. He had like 1 minute left.
Ah, okay, so you got him in time trouble, which was good. All right, so you're a rook up for a couple of pawns, but there's 2 strong pass pawns in the middle, which are a bit of a worry. So let's see what happens. So he pushes the furthest one. You move your rook away. He puts his rook behind it. So I'm a bit worried about stopping him. Oh, you've doubled to stop him. But then the other one's coming down. So you're out of time trouble now? You've made the time control? Or are you still both in time trouble?
No, we're both in time because we were doing 10-minute game.
Oh, okay. So this was the end. So there's a bit of a rush then. All right. So you hit him with a check. He went up there. He probably should go back to stay near his pawns. So putting his king out in the open. So now you've got him on the edge of the board. So that's good. So whether you can get him on the edge, that's the question. You attack his pawn. He comes up. Okay. Now, was that Was that his best move, or would he have a better move, you think?
Well, he could just push his e-pawn up more.
Yeah, you just push e2, and then you've really got to give up one of your rooks to stop that pawn. So you'll end up probably rooking 2 pawns each or something. So d3's a little bit of a boo-boo on his part. Right, everyone, want you to put your thinking caps on now. What should Callum play? He's got these 2 pass pawns hooning down at him, but he might be able to get the other guy on the side of the board. So type in the questions what you think he should play here. Because he does have a good move, which may or may not be the obvious move. Jason's gone rook a7, Bradley's gone rook c6, Rebecca's gone rook c3, Ryan likes rook c6, Thomas rook c3, Heath rook c3, Daniel's gone rook c6. Okay. Any of them appeal to you, Callum?
Well, I did rook c6 to mate him, but then he moved down his rook, so that sort of
You've
stopped
actually
it.
got mate.
So I went back to
You've actually got mate in 4, I think. Do rook c3. So say
yeah, I
like
did that.
king a2 or something. Can you see a good move now? Got him on the side of the board, so you just need to finish him off.
Not really.
What about rook c5? How's he going to stop rook a5, mate?
Can't.
He can give up his rook for one move, but it's still mate. So you've got him. It was like mate in 4. But if you're in time trouble, it's a bit hard to see. So you went rook c6, which still looks promising. He brought his rook down. Now you hit him with a check. He went that way. He should have probably gone to a2, would have been a bit better. You're still threatening him with those naughty mates. And you got him again. So second time you've trapped his rook.
Yeah.
He's still got the 2 pawns, but the rooks can finish them off. Yep. And you won easily from there. Whoa.
Yeah, he lost.
So that was a long game, particularly in time trouble and stuff. All right. So what could we learn from that game, Callum? What do you think?
You got my pawns.
Yeah. So your plan should not be, if you can't think of what to do, throw pawns at the other guy. Your plan should be to build up, keep your position safe, particularly if you're ahead on material like you've got a 1 game or something. So rather than looking at throwing pawns, either look to put your pieces on better squares or find some weakness of his you can attack. Like in this game, you could have tried to attack his h-pawn once you got the other rook defending g2. All right, anything else we can learn from the game? What about in the opening?
Get 2 pawns side by side.
Yeah, 2 pawns side by side. So if you get the chance, get that pawn to d4 rather than moving the bishop out. So you gain that lovely space. And what about our desire to swap bishops and knights and stuff?
Don't swap till you have a good reason to.
Yes, don't swap unless you have a good reason to. That's basically it. Anyway, that was a good effort, so well done on that game, and I hope you enjoyed the lesson today. Actually, Australia's team, if you haven't been following it, they did fairly well in the under-16s. They ended up coming in 8th spot, and in the last round they were playing India. Had they beaten India, they might have even got the bronze medal for 3rd. We went down, I think, 2.5, 1.5, something like that. So it'll be interesting to talk to Lawrence and Bobby and Justin when they get back and see their thoughts on how much they enjoyed playing in Turkey against all the other countries and everything. David's asked me to remind people, I think in 2 weekends' time, we have a novice tournament on Sunday, September 23, for people who might want to play in that at Monash Uni. And some of you, I think, are also playing in the Noble Park Weekender, which is on that weekend, an adult open tournament. So the better ones of you might want to have a look at playing in that. Other than that, I look forward to playing you all online soon. And the Chess Olympiad proper is still going for a few more rounds. So if you want to check that out and follow the Australian games, that'd be good fun too. All right, so thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed tonight's lesson, and we'll see you all next week. Good night.